so we've got two Meles in the house tonight.
So it's an honor to have them both here tonight. So without any further ado, the man himself, Andy Mele.
How are you, John?
What's going on,
How
buddy?
are you?
Nice to be here. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
They won't let me on Letterman, so this is okay.
It's the next best thing, right? Please. How's it going? I mean, you got
Good,
your hands
very
full?
good. Yes. It's been a lot of fun. I got involved with writing. I retired 6 years ago, and I never wrote a word until I retired. Mm-hmm. And somehow something happened, and I've got 2 books. I'm writing in 2 newspapers now, and I've written some short stories that have been published too. Mm-hmm. So it's just turned out to be a fun thing. I don't know.
Well, I heard a lot of stuff about the book about the Brooklyn Dodgers.
Yeah.
The Brooklyn Dodgers reader?
Yeah.
Why don't you talk about that first?
Well, I'm from Brooklyn originally.
Me too.
Yeah, we're Brooklyn people that, they put the bridge up and we hustled over here.
Yeah, when it was $8, right?
Right.
$8.
It
was $2.
It was 50 cents, and they told us it wasn't going to last. I grew up with the Dodgers. I mean, I was a kid playing ball in Brooklyn. We went to Dodger games. We loved the Dodgers. And then they took them away. They took them to California, and that kind of, put it down for me. I kind of lost a lot of interest from then on. But I had the idea to put the book. This book is a compilation of writings by other writers. Mm-hmm. I put it together, and in the format it turns out to be a history of the Brooklyn Dodgers. And the way I look at it, you can't get better writing, because these are the best writers over the past 60 years or so that have written about the subject. And the good thing, what I feel good about is this, the book is in most of the major colleges, college libraries around the country, because they consider it a good reference book. But we've had some good experience. I have great memories of the Dodgers. It was such a time, and it was another world. Especially younger people. They don't grasp, what happened. I heard somebody make a sarcastic remark one day, and they said, "Oh yeah, people jumped off the bridge when the Dodgers left." It was just that it was so much a part of our growing up. Mm-hmm. We lived in a different world, for one thing. Everything, we didn't have the video games, we didn't have this, we didn't have that.
All the technology after that.
Yeah, our life was, we made our own fun. We played our games in the street, played stickball and baseball, and the Dodgers were a part of your life. It was such, the fellow that, the broadcaster, a great broadcaster, is in the Hall of Fame. His name was Red Barber. He was the original Dodger broadcaster, and he used to have an expression. He said, if the Dodgers would lose an afternoon game, there'd be a lot of cold suppers, meaning guys would want to eat. And there's a lot of truth in that, because your mother, even though she, wasn't interested or didn't even know, you'd come home from school, she had the Dodgers do, they lost, no point in cooking, your father's going to come home, he's going to be mad, he's not going to want to eat. Yeah, and that's, it actually got into our house, into our homes. Mm-hmm. It affected us.
Wow, that's interesting. Can you tell us about your new book, The Boys of Brooklyn?
Yeah, The Boys of Brooklyn is, it's a history of a place called the Parade Grounds. In Brooklyn, there's an amateur playing field where there's a bunch of diamonds. And the significance of it is that it's probably has produced more professional ball players than any place in the country. There's about 100 players that went to the major leagues out of the Parade Grounds. And the reason I got involved with the project is because I played there 16, 17 years in what they call the golden age of baseball. Was true, like the late 40s until about the mid 60s. And I played with and against about a dozen major leaguers and probably 60 or 70 minor leaguers. So realizing just from my point of view, from my era, and then when I got into it and started, considering all the others that had made it, there were so many ball players. It was great competition. It was exciting. Mm-hmm. It was a lot of fun. And it was, again, as I said, it was a different world, and it was our life. We played, I played baseball Saturdays and Sundays, a doubleheader every day, each of those days, and at least one night during the week. Mm-hmm. Now, don't forget, this, what they called unlimited ball, is where you had no age limit. So here's where you were playing with these ex-minor leaguers. And we were fellas, we were married, had families, we weren't getting paid. Yeah. And we were devoting that much time to it. So it was probably the best known name now in the news is Joe Torre.
I was just going to say, the rumors in the neighborhood that you actually played with Joe Torre?
Yeah, everybody,
Tell us about
his
that.
name. Well, Joe was one of the kids, one of the top prospects in the years that I played. I played against him, I guess, about 2 years before he signed. Mm-hmm. And somebody asked me not too long ago how I felt about these major leaguers, and the truth is that we rooted for all of these guys that came out of the park because, like, I never had a bad word or a bad problem with anybody, Joe or anybody else. I mean, nobody came in spikes up, and nobody, didn't want to talk to you off the field. No problems with any of them. Joe Pepitone, Joe Torre, Rico Petrocelli, Tommy Davis, just a whole bunch of them.
What about Joe DiMaggio? You ever meet him?
No, I'm sorry, I never met Joe D. No, I missed that. But I'll tell you something about Joe D. When I was a kid, my father, of course, was a great Dodger fan, and that's how I guess it stays with you. But being Italian, we hated the Yankees. I still do. It gets worse every year. Mm-hmm. But we hated the Yankees. But the one thing, we couldn't say anything bad in our house about DiMaggio, Berra, or Rizzuto, because they were Italians. But Joe was a good kid. I have no problem with him. They said, reference has been made, they said he had a hard time signing because he was a fat kid. Mm-hmm. But he wasn't fat, he was a chubby kid. He was 17 years old. And I have a memory that I think held him in good stead. We used to get the word, we'd hear that a ball player was going to sign, a certain prospect was going to sign. Hey, here, Joe's going to sign this week. Now, Joe Torre was a prospect. We heard he was going to sign his contract. Mm-hmm. And his brother was playing in the major leagues at the time. So, the kid had everything going for him. And I was down there one day that week that they said he was going to sign, and I was walking out to an outer field to play a game, and here comes Joe Torre coming towards me in shorts and a T-shirt, running and sweating. He comes up to me, we stopped, talked, and then he went on. And I said to myself, it registered, I said, this kid, he's got it made. He could sit back and say, hey, what do I need this? Yeah. And here he is. The one thing that they complain about is his weight and everything else. And here he is 2 days before he's going to sign a professional contract. He's out there sweating. And I think this kind of must have held him good over the years. It must have had something to do with his attitude and everything else.
That's a classic story.
Yeah.